Oh, hi. Welcome to the Mystic Bit Show podcast recording. How are we doing out there? Let me know if you're here. Leave a comment. We can't actually see who's watching, so you need to leave a comment and let us know you're here. I have something very fucking cool planned today. ANALENA, welcome, my beloved. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my God. This is going to be so cool.
So happy I'm here.
I'm so happy you're here too. Okay, this is a podcast recording of the Mystic Bit Show. We are streaming out live to Facebook and YouTube for whoever wants to jump on and take in the goodness and be a part of the live audience for the Mystic Bit Show. My name is Ingrid H. Turner. I am a psychic medium, psychic development teacher, and I am here to work with freaks, geeks, and weirdos, creatives, misfits, healers, all of that kind of thing. If you feel out of place in the world, I'm your girl because I'm here to help you forge that new pathway that you are here to form. Hey, beautiful Charlotte. So nice to see you on here. ANALENA, I don't know if you can see people who are commenting. I thought in the settings like that you could, but I'm not sure.
Hi.
Hey, beautiful Brenda. Okay, my babes, you're here. Today I'm interviewing the fabulous and amazing, just mind-blowingly awesome ANALENA Fuchs. She is one of the incredible Mystic Bitches in my roster that I am slowly bringing forth onto the Mystic Bitch Show so that you can not only get my magic and my gifts, which are killer, but we can expand on that with these incredible, I call them mystics in the wild. And ANALENA is one of them. ANALENA, I'm actually going to read her bio and then talk a little bit about you personally, just so that people have an idea like how we came to be, because I only bring very special humans onto the Mystic Bitch Show. I consider this a sacred space. But here's what ANALENA is doing. ANALENA is a human design mentor for conscious introvert leaders who are ready to experience more ease, flow, and prosperity in their lives. On the frustrating path of following others' success formula, one day human design found her and changed everything for her in her personal life and business. The awareness that human design brought to her is simply mind-blowing. So it has become her mission to share this wisdom far and wide. She is a co-founder of the Aligned Living Academy, where conscious leaders get certified as human design coaches, and she is also the host of the Art of Slowing Down podcast, which is gaining popularity in the spiritual and entrepreneurial circles. And I just bet it is. So, can everybody give ANALENA a warm welcome? Big claps and love for this beautiful woman. Let me just gush about you a little bit, ANALENA, before I let you talk, okay? I just have to get this out. So, I first came across ANALENA, where I've come across so many of you, on Facebook. And as a human design generator, I was just learning how to tap into my sacral yes, trying to figure out what that felt like. And we're going to talk more about this on this, about human design and the types on this program. We're going to learn about it with ANALENA a little bit here. But I saw some post you said offering one-on-one sessions, and my whole body went, ooh. And I was like, I think that's what a sacral yes feels like. So I booked a session and I was right on. It was my sacral yes. And I had this great session with you. And I felt like I got to go so much more deep and into like some of the intricacies of my human design chart. And I'd been kind of chasing information on Google. And I came to you and you had this really just calm, deliberate, intuitive, present way of delivering me to me. And so I was really impressed with you. And we bopped around on Facebook for a little while and kept in touch. And then I made my way in my travels. I made my way to Savannah, Georgia. And next thing I know, I've got a ping from ANALENA. I'm like, I'm going to be in Savannah. Do you want to meet up? That's a fuck yes. I want to meet up. And I swear, when we got together, I mean, ANALENA and I spent hours just talking and connecting, and the energy was palpable and potent and pregnant with creativity. It was really, really cool. And then she had me on her podcast, which is The Art of Slowing Down, and we talked about my travels and human design and all that. And then she sent an email out not too long ago talking about her Aligned Living Human Design certification course, and my belly did that thing again. My generator belly was like, ooh, you have to come talk to me. You have to come talk on my podcast now and share your magic. You're also going to share about your academy and your course, which is really, really cool. And I'm so here to pump you up and share about that. And I really want to learn more about you, ANALENA. I just read your beautiful bio, but I want to bounce it over to you now. I want to know, can you talk to us a little bit about you in a more intimate way? Who is ANALENA? What are you doing? How are you working with people?
Thank you, first of all, for this beautiful introduction. And yeah, it was epic how we met. I love it because it has been a couple of years almost now. And it's always so beautiful when you meet in person, right? So,
Yeah.
and I have to also say, because, Facebook and social media will often complain about it, but that's how we meet, right? It's incredible how many amazing humans like you have met on social media. So,
It's such a powerful tool. It has made the world so small, and it's meant that thousands and thousands of us can be born into bodies and splattered across the world, and as soulmates, we can connect through this
yeah.
incredible medium. I'm with you. It's annoying as hell, and it's also incredible.
It is. And now we know that our circles, they just know who is right for us and all the things. So, anyways, let's talk about me and human design a little bit. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, before
Yeah.
human design, and then what made this human design thing so special. So, I also, just like you say, right, the misfits, and we feel like we don't fit in. I called myself like the black sheep in the family, which I think so many of us do, right?
Yeah.
And even like being in school and in college, even though I always had the awesome grades and stuff, but I just felt like I don't belong here. I want something totally different. And this is just not my path. But I didn't know exactly what my path was either, right? So I was more like unfulfilled in life, right? There was something always missing. I was always looking for like, what is that thing that some people have figured out? Right? This thing
Yeah.
about happiness, and I learned like, oh, it's not the money, it's not getting married, it's not having this thing, it's not living in beautiful South Florida in the most incredible neighborhood, like those things that we think make us happy, right? I really learned that's not it. Even becoming a mom, as it's the most incredible thing that it is, but it's not that this is what brings you happiness, right? It enriches your life in so many ways or forms, but it also breaks you open, right? Especially to your wounds and conditioning and stuff. So as I was in corporate for many years, because I got divorced at some point, and then I got a corporate job, and I had already worked before in corporate. I was doing not human design.
What were you
I
doing?
almost was gonna say because I was doing human resources, so
Oh,
doing some
so
human.
close, but so
Yeah,
far.
exactly. And one of the things, and then I moved into payroll because I wanted to do both, but the company grew, so I had to pick one thing, and I kind of felt weird. But I had this thing that I noticed that people always came to me and they talked to me, and I loved it, and they shared their deepest secrets with me, like, and I didn't know anything
Hmm.
about human design at the time, right?
Yeah.
So just as a nugget of wisdom, I'm going to go back to that in a little bit. So then at some point, through some things in my personal life, I got into coaching. And first it was about health coaching. I was like, well, I grew up in Germany. That's where I'm from, no? In case you wonder where my accent is from.
Yeah.
So, and it was really easy to me to just help people like how to make healthy lifestyle decisions, and how the food you eat here in America is all crappy, and what real food really is. And that was just like common sense to me. So, but then, I'm moving fast. I'm a manifesting generator.
Which we're gonna describe what
Yeah,
that is in a minute.
yeah, about that too. Some of you may know already, but
Yeah.
um,
Real
in
quick,
essence,
pause. I'm gonna
yeah,
pause you. Who knows their human design type? If you do, put it in the comments. Let us know because it'll help give us some fodder for a little bit later. Okay.
yeah.
On
Also, if
pause.
you guys are totally new to human design, never heard about it, like give us some tips that would be
I
helpful.
will put a link up here where you can go get your human design chart for free while you're listening to this. So we can talk about it later. But yes,
Awesome.
sorry. Go ahead, Annalena. Tell us more. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was diving into coaching, right? And I got really excited about it, and I got certified, and I told everybody about it. Even my boss at the time, I told her like, "Yeah, I got certified," and I gave him my business card. And so, anyway, so
So
I think,
that go okay for you?
yeah, I mean,
In the States?
I
Because
mean, I got fired 10 months later.
oh, nothing to do with being like, boss, I'm a human design coach now. I don't really want to be here.
Yeah, no, at the time it wasn't even human design; it was just coaching in
Oh,
general.
sorry.
Right?
Coaching. I got my coaching certification,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, but I wanted to leave, and I told the universe I'm gonna quit my job, but I was still like, kind of stuck to the security, so to say,
Sure.
of the paycheck, right? But then the universe made it happen for me. I was scared as shit, to be honest, in the beginning.
Yeah,
Um,
like we are.
Yeah. But then, in the coaching, I learned more. I got more certified, different modalities. And then there was life coaching and I was business coaching. I did a lot of the inner shadow work, especially like emotional release work and stuff. So I
Yeah.
become really good at that, especially for myself. It was so helpful. So then one beautiful day after I was so freaking frustrated and I was almost thinking like, I don't know if this is going to work out for me, being an entrepreneur and being a coach, because I followed so many people's, oh, this is the success plan kind of strategy. And I really burnt myself a lot with money. Like I overinvested money that I didn't have, put it on credit cards. And it got really to a point where I was like, oh,
Done it. Done
yeah,
it.
right.
Yep. Oh, we in trouble now.
Yeah. And then always this, like you make the investment and you just like, oh my God, I have to make it back at least. Right. And there were literally somewhere I didn't even make it back. And there was lots of stuff that I found out of integrity because it was just not, it's like you were sold some kind of ideal story that maybe worked for one person, but not for everybody. And
Yeah.
so anyways, one beautiful day, one of my friends, she was like, hey, there's this thing, like you may want to check it out. It's called Human Design, and here's your chart. You can pull it and show me an archive. Exactly. And I looked at it and I was like, ooh, these numbers. And I love math, right? I have always been in love.
Are you? Oh my God.
Math. Yeah. So, and I first had no idea what it means, but it was so different. It was so intriguing. And what I love the most is that I only had to put in my date of birth and the time I was born. I didn't have to fill out 100 questions like, oh, if you're in situation ABC, how are you going to react on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm like, I don't know. So these other personality tests that I've taken before, they're just usually, I mean, it was nice to know, but I didn't find them really helpful. And I found them very annoying because I had to answer so many questions. And I knew based on my mood or the day, I would answer them totally different tomorrow. So
Right. That is the problem with personality tests. Although I've always like really enjoyed like thinking of it, like talking about myself with the personality test. Like, let me contemplate this. But yeah, I
yeah,
definitely see what you mean.
yeah. So, and of course we're fluid, right? We change all the time. But so
Totally.
anyways, with human design, it was this thing with me that there was something different about it where my whole body, my being was just so lit up. And I was like,
Ooh.
oh my God, I have to go deeper. And it was like, it was literally calling me. Like somebody's knocking on your door and doesn't stop knocking. Like it was so strong. And I very, very quickly picked it up. I
Yeah.
understood it, and it's just made sense to me, everything. And I took a course first for myself, for my type, and then I was like, because I was already working with other entrepreneurs at this time, I was like, I cannot not bring this to my clients, because what it did for me in the beginning is that I felt such a relief, like literally trickling through my entire being, my whole body, like this sense of relaxation that I was like, oh, it's okay to be me. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with me. It's like, I mean, you have no idea how many, especially with like mindset work
Totally.
and the beliefs we should have,
Mm-hmm.
how we should act and be in the world, and all I mean, it's great, right? We have a lot of books and modalities, but if you follow everybody's advice, you're running around like a crazy chicken.
Oh my God, it's so true. Wasn't it a game changer to take it out of your head and into your body?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
so simple.
Yeah, right. But I had to hear it. And that's actually one of the things that human design is all about, is that you're not here to make decisions in your head. It's all about dropping in the body and
Yeah.
listening to your body. Like this sensation that I had in my body when human design, and I say it found me,
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
really looking for it at the time. I knew for a while there's still something missing,
Yeah.
but I kind of let it go and like, you know, and then one day it showed up, it knocked on the door. So
Yeah.
it
Like,
was,
maybe that's just life. Maybe there is no big,
yeah,
passionate, explosive yes, and
yeah,
so many of us go through life, so we end up believing that after a while because we're so conditioned into our mind, making decisions from our mind and putting off what feels right in the moment. The way I say it's like we're so conditioned to give our power away to an authority. somebody else has to know better than me. And
Yeah.
human design is a game changer. Everybody who I've ever done a human design chart reading for, and I'm sure you've had this experience too, like you just described, an incredible sense of relief, such
Mhm.
validation, like, oh, I can just be me. Yes, you can, darling. Yes, you can. And it works out a lot better when you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you work so you found human design, you'd been working with entrepreneurs primarily in coaching, and you fine-tuned it to introverted entrepreneurs. Talk a little bit about some of the results that your clients experienced and what you drew in as you started to incorporate human design into your coaching practice.
Yeah. I mean, first I discovered for myself because I thought I'm too shy or because I have a lot of need for alone time as a person. And
Yeah.
while I can be very outgoing, like now with you, I feel super comfortable. We know each other and you're a super amazing, loving person. But I thought that I have to be different, especially to be cut in the online space. And when I learned about my human design first, I learned that because I'm a 2-4 profile. And the 2 line is all about, it's called the hermit in human design. And it's all about like, I need to actually hide away. I need my alone time. If I don't cultivate that, I cannot fully expand into
Yeah.
my 4 line, which is the networking, it's the community, it's being more out there. So I had to accept that part of me first to also embrace the other part of myself, right? And there's other aspects of my charts. I'm highly sensitive. I'm the empath. So all these things, right? And I thought these are all weaknesses, right? I all thought
Mhm.
these are things I have to fix
Right.
before. And
Right.
with the healing work, we can get into a rabbit hole and like, I need to clear this block, I need to clear another block, and I need to heal this, and then we never really get out and do anything, right?
So
So
true. Do you think that can be like a form of self-sabotage?
absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it's like, and let's think about it. If you say, I have a blog, I mean, yeah, you create that blog and you believe you have a blog, but you can say, like, I'm perfect as I am. And even
Yeah.
though I have stuff to heal, I can,
I may be a hot mess, but I'm a sexy hot mess.
yeah, or I can be water just because I want to. It doesn't matter if I have any blocks. But I think oftentimes the coaching space conditions us to think we have these blocks, so I don't know, they can sell their products. I don't know, sorry, but just
Well, I mean, I don't even know that it's necessarily a conscious manipulation. I think that's just like the sort of the dogma of the coaching industry. It's
yeah,
like you have a problem, you have a block, and here's my way out of it.
yeah, yeah. So I have found it always a little bit disempowering, and I agree with you. It's not done consciously oftentimes, but there was something that was more like I felt holding me back. Now with human design, it was all of a sudden like, okay, it's from the inside out. I don't have to follow anybody else. I don't have to do it like anybody else. I'm not
Mhm.
supposed to be doing it like anybody else.
Yeah.
I can only do it my way, right? And when I learned that being a highly sensitive, introverted, and empath, all of the things, that's actually my superpower, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a game changer. And then, of course, I mean, I didn't really look for it, but the people that I naturally attracted, they would identify with those things as well, right? Because
Mhm.
we usually kind of attract who we
Did
are.
did you find when you started honoring your human design type that you started attracting different kinds of people to work with, like more aligned people to work
Oh
with?
yeah, totally. Because I finally gave myself permission to be myself.
Yeah.
And I had also, and I still have it now with human design. I can just talk and talk and talk and talk. I have a spark
Yeah.
in my eyes, and I'm like, everybody needs to know about this.
Everybody, I agree with you. Everybody needs to know about it. So
Yeah.
for me, human design, I mean, I've been having a love affair with human design, but I understand it as more of a like a stream for me than the primary like passion that I'm bringing out. But I do feel passionate about it, especially right now.
Mm.
I feel very passionate about human design, and I'm really excited to bring you on because I know that for you, it's even more it's not like that it's more of a passion, it's more of a focus for you.
Yeah.
You are zeroed in on it here. Everything you're doing is around human design because it lights you up. For me, it's one of those like, oh, that's one of the things that I really like right now.
Yeah.
And it's very, very helpful for the other stuff that I am doing and for learning about myself and bringing myself into full alignment with what is my, bing, 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 Christmas tree light up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally.
so I am like, I don't know everything. I don't even pretend to know everything. I love bringing in people who have an even more deeper and granular understanding of things that I love. So I wonder if we could switch gears for a minute. And I would like to hear you just talk a little bit about the overview of human design types. And if anybody has a question about their human design chart, about their type, you can comment your type. We could talk about that a little bit. And Annalena, if you could just kind of talk about the 5 types in brief. So if somebody's brand new to it, they have a little bit of a sense of themselves.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so human design, so let's start with the basics, because so human design is in a way like a personality kind of tool, but the beauty is you need to just have your date of birth, right, and the time you're born. You want to have the exact time you're born. That is important.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you put it in, you get this beautiful chart out, which you're probably going to think like this looks like kind of Chinese or something like that.
So, side note, the first time I looked at my human design chart years before I actually aligned with it, I noped right on out of there because I took one look at that. I was like, that's a mess.
Yeah. No, and it also, just so you know, like human design, I want to say this actually before we dive into the 5 types. It's not something you can force yourself into.
No.
Your body will know if you're ready for it. And that's
Yeah.
some of the things that I have learned with human design, because I got so excited about it in the beginning. I wanted everybody to know, my family. If people are not open to it, it's not going to do anything for them, seriously. So focus on yourself. I really recommend that. And then the people that are ready for it, they'll come to you. They're gonna ask you like, what are you doing differently? Like, what have you learned about yourself that I don't know about?
Yeah.
So yeah. So then one of the beautiful things with human design is that it incorporates many different other modalities that most of you probably know, like Western and Eastern astrology, the Chinese I Ching, which goes back thousands and thousands of years, is like literally ancient wisdom, which explains all how the universe works. Then the Judaic Kabbalah, the Hindu chakra system, quantum physics, so astrology. I mean, it's like, and I love this so much because when I was growing up, I always had an issue also with religion, because there was this like, it's this one way and no other way. And I always was like, this can't be. I was like, always like against it. And human design kind of made this like it's everything, and everything is valid within this big context. There's no contradictions. It's not black or white. It's not like this is right and this is wrong. All these modalities have truth, and they don't contradict each other. So that about that. So then now in human design, there are 5 types. One thing that I want to say about the types, these types, don't see it as like a box that you're this and they are that and we are all like totally different. It's just that the types, there's some commonalities with humans that fall into the types, but there's a lot of overlap. So some of the stuff that I may talk about another type may also resonate with that, because in essence, you're totally unique. Right.
And that has to do as you sort of drill down deeper and deeper into your chart. There are certain channels and gates that are like projector channels or generator channels. Even if your type is a generator, you might have some key projector channels. So in certain areas of your life, your energy behaves like a different type, kind of, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you want to, in the beginning with human design, it is important to focus on the basics of the types, and that's something I will talk in a minute about, because there's something that we call strategy and authority. That is something you want to focus on in the beginning for a while, just to learn that. And then there will be a point where you go deeper into the finer nuances of the chart. And I think Gail was asking if it's different than a birth chart. It is different. I think you're talking about an astrology birth chart, I imagine. It does look very different, but they do relate to each other. So they don't contradict each other.
And real quick, folks, if you're curious about your human design chart, if you don't have it already or know it already, the link on the screen, the Get Your Human Design Chart, go to jovianarchive.com/get_your_chart, and you can generate your chart for free. So you can kind of follow along with what Annalena is talking about.
Yeah, if you know your types, so that would be helpful. So what are the types? We have the generator, we have the manifesting generator, we have the projector, we have the manifestor, and we have the reflector. And I myself, I'm a Mani-Gen or manifesting generator. Ingrid is a generator. And the generator types, which are the generators and the Mani-Gens together, they make up about 70% of the population. Then we have projectors around 20%, manifestors 9 to 10, and reflectors are only like 1% or even less of the population, so super unique. So for the generator types, we have, when it comes to our strategy, it's called way to respond. So what this means is that we're not here to make stuff happen. Right. In a way that, let's say you have an idea, and how many ideas do we have all day long? A lot, right? So we are not here to jump on all the ideas that we have. What we are meant to be doing is that you may have a lot of ideas. I always recommend all the generator types to write them down. So this applies not
because they're good ideas.
Yeah, they're awesome, but maybe 99% of the ideas you have, you don't even have to do anything with it because you're just taking it on from elsewhere and then just flowing through your existence, right? Or your consciousness. So the way it works for a generator type is that the way to respond basically means that you're supposed to wait for something to show up in your external world, outside of you, not in your head, not in your mind, right? It's not like, again, you're not supposed to jump on, like, let's say one day you get super excited to start a new course. And then you just do it and then it doesn't work and you get all frustrated, right? So
generator types, does that resonate with you? Leave a comment, because I tell you, when I heard that, when I started learning about this as a generator, I was like, oh, that explains so much. I was one of those people with a million great ideas. Like, so many of my ideas should have like made me $1 million. And I would run in and I'd initiate and I'd try and make it happen. And I'd fall on my face every time. Super, super frustrating. The trick is not to do that.
Yeah.
Continue.
So what are we supposed to do instead? Now, I want to tell you, it requires one thing, patience, which is not easy for us. Especially, we have to understand we are so conditioned in this society, right? Because we have been learned, what? Just go do it. Make it happen, especially in the self-development space, right? It's this like, take action, do it. All the motivational speakers is this like, go get it done mentality, right? So let's say you want to create a course, and I'm sharing the story now from the human design certification. We have a human design certification at the Aligned Living Academy. I had this idea a while ago, right? Yeah. But I let it be. I was like, I'm not supposed to initiate stuff and just pull it out of my ideas, right? So then long time later, I was actually sharing my mentor's human design certification. You know, she was having a sale and I was an affiliate and I shared it. And then I had people ask me, well, that's awesome, that's great, but aren't you having a human design certification? Because I love how you teach. And if you have one, I would really sign up. I was like, ooh, and my cycle was like, ooh.
That was it. That was it. You had the idea, set the intention, and then it showed up in your environment.
Yeah, like somebody asked me and I could with my sacral. And so this is like the generator types. We have a sacral defined. It's going to be the red center kind of in the lower middle part of your chart. If that is going to be red and colored in, if that's red and colored in, you're always a generator type, either a generator or manifesting generator. So in my body, in my belly, I could sense this like, ooh, yes, I can do this. Of course, my mind was like, who are you to do this? I mean, you need to be more qualified. You need to do 20 years of research or whatever, right? Like, I was always like, but when you do this with this way to respond, it's from the external. I mean, literally magic happens. And in our case, I mean, we launched the business. We have a beautiful certification right now. It's changing people's lives and making impact globally. You know, I couldn't have planned this in my head. I surrendered into the way to respond, right? So it's almost like, as a generator type, you're here to flirt with the universe. I mean, from the moment that you wake up, even like what you want to eat, this is not up your belly.
Yeah. So folks, this is a generator chart that I just put on the screen. It's actually my generator chart. This circle, the square down at the bottom there, if that is colored in your chart, you're either a generator or a manifesting generator. If you're a generator or a manifesting generator, leave a comment. Let us know you're here. There should be a lot of us because we're 70% of the population.
Yeah, this is you exactly.
Oops.
So okay, so this is for the generator types, and this way to respond, it may sound simple, but it's freaking hard for most people. Again, what I said earlier, right? We have been so conditioned to just make things happen, to follow what other people tell us. You have to follow these 3 steps, or this is how you should do it. And then you go do it, you get all exhausted and tired and frustrated. And then the next day you have somebody else tell you, no, you have to take these 5 steps because that was work for me, right? So, and we go into that, Jeremy, a little bit, the difference between the generator and the manifesting generator. One thing that I want to also say, and of course, there's so much more to it. I could just talk an hour.
You could just talk about generators for the next hour and a half, I get, or projectors or whatever. Okay, we're doing a quick overview here, but right on.
But one of the biggest things that I feel like is probably going to help everybody, and that's going to stick with you. So this defined sequel that you just showed, right, for the generators. If you do something that truly lights you up, like I was saying, that for me, it's human design. I can just go on and on and on, and I get even more energized doing it, right? So when you do something that really lights you up, that you enjoy, that comes easy to you, it doesn't even really feel like work. This sacral energy, this is your life workforce energy center, actually is kind of like you're charging a battery in some way, if you want to think about it, right? So it's almost like we're creating more resources for yourself and for the world. However, when you force yourself to do things that totally drain you, that don't light you up, let's say somebody asks you like, oh, you want to do this job, and your mind is like, yeah, it's going to pay me $100,000, but your body is totally like, oh. Like what happens, you can do it for some time.
That resonate with anybody who's done that or maybe is doing that? My beautiful generators.
Yeah.
Soul-sucking work for a paycheck. I get it. It's scary out there.
And of course, like it's not just like that we get out of this, but it all starts with awareness, right? So when you do that, and the longer you do it, like to do something that doesn't light you up, you're literally degenerating this life workforce energy. It's like you're sucking the life out of the battery. And this is why, I don't know, 90% of humanity is burned out.
Right.
So it's almost like it's like when we deplete resources. And if you think about the world, right? Like our natural resources, like water and things like that. So when you as a human engage in something that in your body and your being is like, oh.
Yeah.
That is taking away resources, not only from your own, but also for humanity as a whole. Because
oh my God, wow.
But like me, right? Let's just think about this. If I would sit in my corporate office and doing still payroll and doing my Excel sheets, I would probably be looking like this and like, and I would go home and I feel like I don't want to do anything. I would be demotivated.
Yeah. I think we've been there, right?
I would run the company's payroll once a month, but I would be so like, unhappy.
I just had this flash of clarity when you talked about, when you did the comparing between depleting your personal energetic resources and depleting the planet's resources. It feels like it is so connected. Like as humans are choosing fear over love, choosing to deplete themselves. And this is not anybody's fault. Like, I want to make that really clear, man. We are all deeply conditioned to do the safe thing, to run away from our fear, to, we're all told from a really young age that our passion is not going to make us money. Why are you wasting your talent? Play it safe, go get a job, have something to lean back on, at least all of that. And we have that deeply ingrained in us. The human design, especially working with ANALENA, she's very passionate about this, is the deconditioning process. But it feels to me like that is directly related to the fact that we are stripping the earth of her resources so completely.
Yeah.
That was just a boom.
Yeah.
Explosion.
No, I have this, and I get these things because when I talk on my podcast or having conversations with you, right? Like, and so this comparison, me sitting in the office and I'm talking here now, not only am I happy and I am lit up, totally, this is me and my little ego, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also changing. I mean, millions of people can watch this on YouTube.
Sure.
Totally.
Anything could happen. This could go all kinds of places. And I'm lit up having this
That's it.
conversation with you. You got two generators lit up here like light bulbs. We are generating energy for the planet when we are lit up individually. And that feels like a really fucking important job, folks. So, generators, what can you do today to start to move through your fear? Just start. Just
Yeah.
consider it. Just turn in that direction because I think it's really important.
Yeah. And literally, when you do what comes easy to you, what freaking lights you up, where you have this spark in your eyes, right?
Yeah.
And I can usually detect this in 5 seconds when I talk to people.
Yeah.
Like when you do this, that's how you are being of service to the world.
Yes.
Not by being in a soul-sucking job or whatever this is for you that is totally draining your energy, right? Now,
Yeah.
I want to add on something to this. This does not mean nothing will ever be hard, right?
No.
I trained for a half marathon. And it took me freaking 2 years to finally get there. In the beginning, I wanted to give up and I was like, blah. But I kept going because I went into it following my sequel. I responded to something. It wasn't easy, but eventually I had this like point where I loved it and I wanted to run and it felt easy, but it took me some time to get there, right?
Yeah.
So it's not, that's also what I want to say. It's not this black or white, but if you follow your way to respond and you enter into the things where your sacral is lit up, it can still be hard, but just trust there's so much magic on the other side.
And I love that you brought that up. I differentiate that there's struggle, which is when you're not doing what you're lit up about. And then there's challenge, which is when you're doing what you're lit up about. When you're lit up, you want to move through the challenge. It's something that you can wrestle and wrangle and feels invigorating. If you're not aligned, you're struggling. It's draining you. It's not getting you anywhere. Usually it's a struggle for no good reason.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, exactly. Like we're actually excited to take the challenge.
Yeah, we're like, all right.
Exactly. So that's, I think, the part that's for the generator and the manifesting generator. And I saw all these beautiful questions. I'll go over those as well.
Yeah,
So,
we'll jump to as many as we can. I mean, on this podcast, we're doing an overview, but you know where to go if you want to learn more. Whoops, this bitch right here with her academy, right? We're going to give her an opportunity to talk about that, but she has a beautiful system in place to train people on human design and get certified in human design. And she's an amazing teacher. You can hear just talking to her. She's lit up, but she's delivering this in a way that for me, it always lands with real clarity and a calm that I find very, very important to receive. She's calm, she's creative, she speaks deliberately, she delivers it deliberately. Like you don't miss anything when ANALENA is teaching you about human design. And it's easy to miss things with something as complex as human design. And you just don't with ANALENA. You just take people through in a really thorough way, which I really appreciate.
yeah, thank you.
So who are we going to talk about next? We're going to talk about projectors next?
Exactly, because I can jump really quick and then forget what I was going to talk about. So we talked about the generator type. So the manifesting generator is a little bit different than the generator. So one of the biggest difference is that we have these creative urges that we also need to follow.
This is a manifesting generator.
Yeah, as a manifesting generator. And we can sometimes start all these things and never finish anything and jump really quick. We change our mind a lot, and we need to oftentimes be involved in many different things. So while all humans in some way are multi-passionate, for manifesting generators, it's actually important to, like for me, I focus on human design, but I have my own business. I do some one-on-one work. I have a podcast. I love to collaborate, like with you. I have the Aligned Living Academy with Miranda. I collaborate there. I'm planning right now to eventually write my own book. I'm still waiting to respond on that. So it's like, I actually like, that energizes me. For other
you need
people,
to have a lot of different pots on the stove. Like you need to have a lot of different things going on to feel satisfied.
Yeah. And I don't want to be in two pots at the same time. But it's more like I'm in this pot and then I close it and I go to the next. And I need more variety within my focus, if that makes sense.
Right.
The generator is usually more focus once they are in one line, and it's easier to become masterful for them in one thing, and they stay usually longer with something. So it's a tendency, right? There's again no black or white. It depends also really on the unique chart.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something I've been contemplating a lot as a generator and a versus like a manifesting generator. Like I've got two things that I'm really, really passionate about right now. And I feel very strongly being pulled to certain activities
Mm.
that and I don't want to do anything else. Like I'm highly resistant even to other activities that I have done in the past for my business and for my passion. There's just certain things I just want to be focusing on right now. That's it. This podcast is one of them. I just want to be doing the Mystic Bit show. I just want to be like out here and talking to people in this way and creating content in this way. And it is like torture to pull my attention somewhere else, even if it's something that I have done and focused on extensively in the past. Like I do really zero in hard on one thing and I don't want to do anything else. It's not like I zero in and then like, okay, I can leave that for a while and I'm gonna go over here and then leave that for a while. It sounds like that's more of the manifesting generator.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's
a pure
exactly.
generator is like, get out of my way. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, this is something you learn through your own experience, and also then with talking to other people, just like we are talking right now, right? We're learning about each other. But yeah, for me, it's sometimes I can jump from one thing to another super quick, and then sometimes never get back to it or go back to it years later. So
yeah.
we skip steps a lot,
Yeah.
and sometimes we have to go redo some
You
stuff, but we actually designed to find shortcuts. We're not
You move
necessarily.
so fast.
Yeah.
Manifesting generator, anybody who's got a manifesting generator in your life, they have an ungodly amount of energy and they move so freaking fast. Generators, pure generators, depending on some things I think in their chart, they tend to be more sort of measured in their pace and their energy level, I find.
Yeah. But also we can also get burned out, right? I still need a lot
Yeah.
of rest. So especially because I'm so fast, sometimes I can forget about everything else. And then so okay, and
So
also the Manigen, when we have the sacral response to something, we still want to kind of feel into it because we can have a tendency to change our mind. A generator is more like you respond and you're in. A
yeah,
Manigen, we respond, we kind of have to feel it out first, and we may
right.
like, oh, that's not. Or
I've
then
seen
we may
that
not.
in my manifesting generator friends where they will like be wishy-washy about something. And I'm like,
Yeah,
you said yes. And they're like, well,
yeah,
I'm like, what are we
yeah.
doing?
But that has
Definitely
been,
generators are more boom.
yeah.
Um,
And
and
then sorry,
go ahead. The
going
floor is
too
yours.
fast. No, but that one thing is so healing for me as a manager, and for example, because of course we judge ourselves, right? And oftentimes we force ourselves to just stick with something because we responded with a sacral yes, and then exactly or the self-doubt kicks in or whatever.
Yeah.
But you gotta confidently own that. And now I have learned this. I'm just like, I'm more cautious with how I say it. Like, I'm not sure yet. Give me another week. I need to try it
Mhm.
out. You know,
Yeah.
we need kind of trial periods and things like that to,
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
I don't
also,
feel that as much as a pure generator type. But where I get caught up is like, is that a yes? And I need to just have more confidence in myself. It's like, oh nope, if it's is that a yes, it's a no. If it's a
yeah.
question, if it's a yes, it's a no. And that's challenging because of the conditioning of the mind. But I see the differentiation there. That's really cool. Real quick, before we move on to projectors, we're going to talk about projectors in a moment. Managens and generators who are watching, are you resonating with this? Is it helping you to understand yourself a little better, even just skimming the surface of generator and manifesting generator types, or does it bring up more questions? And if it does, what are they? Leave a comment and let us know how this is impacting you, what this is bringing up for you. Okay, let's talk about projectors.
Yeah. So now before I go into the projectors, so we have projectors, reflectors, and manifestors, and what they have in common, they have this sacral that we showed in the chart, right? The red center.
Whoops.
So the one that's down here, the square one,
The
that's in red.
square.
So if you're a projector, a reflector, or manifestor, this will always be white. So
No
it's
color in the square, folks. If you are a projector, manifestor, got it.
and what this means is that this sacral life workforce energy, you experience this differently in greater variability. So you don't have consistent access to it like the generator types, even though they also need rest, right? The way that you experience the sacral energy is like you can take it on from the generator types all around you, which are probably everywhere, right?
Right, because there's 70% of us. We are world domination here. So quickly, who's a projector? Who's on here? Who's a projector? Leave a comment. Let us know you're here.
We had a couple actually right in the beginning.
Good. Let's see if they're still here. Who's a projector? We're talking to you. If you have questions about your type,
So
we go.
So as a projector, which also now applies to the manifest and the reflector, you amplify at times the sacral energy. So you have these spurts of energy where like sometimes you have one day and in 5 hours you're so lit up by something, you can get something done so fast, where we generator types are like, how did he or she just do that? Like super freaking efficient and fast, right? But then what happens is that at some point, and your body will tell you, it's almost like a balloon pops.
Oh,
you know, that you feel like, and you may feel like you want to push through because it can become a little bit addictive because you are so productive and we want to get things done, and we want to, you know, like, oh, if I can keep this up, but you cannot maintain that level of like sacral life force energy that you have amplified for some time. And then what happens is it's almost like the generator types are more like this, very steady. I mean, they need their rest daily, they need to sleep, but it's more in like a consistent, like a sinus curve kind of. For the undefined sacral, which is the projector, manifest, and reflector, the sacral energy is kind of like this. It goes up really high, and then it stays here. And I need to rest more. And then they have another amplification, right? So it's like the 9 to 5, Monday through Friday kind of thing. It just doesn't work at all for those.
right.
I think also for the generator types, we have become sick and tired of it because it doesn't allow for the creativity and the urges and passion, right? So,
and your natural circadian rhythms too.
Yeah. But if you're a projector, what is so important is that you allow yourself to take these longer periods, times of rest, right? And also you may have a need sometimes to get away from all this sacral energy and get out in nature, which again is good for all humans. It's also sometimes in a relationship, as a projector, you may actually want to sometimes sleep alone if your partner is a sacral being, because even when you kind of sleep, this energy still keeps kind of buzzing, and it's important for you kind of to discharge the energy.
I have a legitimate question about that. If you are a non-sacral being, projector, manifestor, or reflector, and I have heard feedback from many non-sacral beings who are like, I love to sleep alone, but like I can't. Like that's not going to be good for my relationship. Maybe what do you I mean, is there another way or an alternative way they can discharge that energy without abandon, like, you know, as you might be experiencing as abandoning your partner at night?
No, I always like, it can be a touchy subject. So if you have the chance to get out in nature during the day, just, I mean, take your socks off, get on Mother Earth, get grounded, you know, because that's also, and you can visualize releasing the energies. Some energy healing modalities, right? To just clean your energy, or taking a good shower, and just like.
What about like going to bed earlier than maybe your generator partner and taking some time to unwind and decompress?
Yeah, I mean, that's a component anyways. As a projector type, you are designed to go to bed before you're super tired. Because if you go to bed when you're super tired, you won't be able to really usually not sleep well. For a projector, it's usually best if they go to bed like an hour before they usually kind of fall asleep, right? And then they have much better rest. So the pure generator, like you do your best, like you work and you have a really long day, and then you go to bed when you're like a second before you close your eyes, kind of thing, right? Now the manigens, because they have the manifestors, some a little bit in there as well, they also do best if we go to bed a little bit before and still do a little bit of work while we're in bed to kind of wind down as well. So there are a little bit of differences, but for the relationship, I always do encourage, if you really have this craving to sometimes sleep alone, like it's a matter of how you communicate it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not about blaming anybody, but if you have a partner that's also open to it, and if they can see how it can actually benefit the relationship, because when you feel more rested and more recharged and more energetically sane in some way, it will also have a good influence on the partnership. So I do invite you to have a loving conversation about it, where it comes from a place of like, hey, I learned this about myself. How can we make this happen to actually even for the good for both of us?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not about pointing fingers and like, oh, your sacral energy is sucking the life out of me. That's not right.
That's not what's happening, you guys. We can't help it. Okay.
Yeah. So um and then the other thing, yeah, like things like getting out in nature, you have to have some alone time.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this is important for all humans, but especially as a projector, you really got to be very, very picky with your energy and what you say yes to, right? Because
Yeah. Talk about this wait for the invitation strategy with projectors, and how is that different from wait to respond?
yeah, I did an awesome podcast episode about that with a projector.
Oh, okay. Summarize it, and then we can tell
Yeah,
people where to
yeah.
go find that podcast if you're a projector.
So it was, yeah, her name is Daniela Nahas. It was on my podcast. I don't know what episode it was, but okay. So for the projector, the strategy and authority, so that's like how you're supposed to make big decisions in life. And projectors, honestly, are the most complex. The projectors can have, I think, 6 different authorities. So you can be a mental projector, emotional projector, splenic projector, and a couple of other ones, ego projector, so self-projected projector. So I cannot go into those details right now.
No.
But the big thing is that you will see when you pull your chart, it will say wait for recognition or wait for an invitation, and you're going to be like, what? So
What does
what
that mean? And what do I do in the meantime?
yes, so this is really important. This is only for the really big things in life, like a totally new like career direction, a new partnership, a relocation where you're gonna live, like big
Mm.
things in life, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So for those kind of things, you also when I kind of like I talked about the generator type, is it's about waiting. So don't take action upon ideas. If you have this idea, oh, I should move to Hawaii, and then you're gonna call the realtor and make it happen. That would be like trying to make it happen. So as a projector, as you have to cultivate, you need to rest and really take care of your unique energy needs, right? You want to make sure that you show to the world what you're up to, what you're doing. You're not supposed to hide. So the wait for invitation does not mean you have to hide and wait in that sense. You live your daily life, really take good care of yourself, shine. Did you?
Mm.
Okay. So,
It looks like my internet is being a little bit funky. Sorry about that.
okay.
I think it seems a little better now.
Yeah, perfect. So, as you do that, you show the world what you're up to. Like, you don't have to wait to share people about that you are a coach. Let's say you're a coach or a healer or whatever you're doing. You got to show and talk to people about it, right? But when it comes to the big stuff, like maybe it's launching a company or starting this whole big new project and things like that. So as you share who
Right.
you are and take good care of yourself, not like totally hiding away, people will start to recognize you. But for that to happen, you need to recognize yourself first. That is one of the biggest things for projectors, that they actually need to recognize themselves for how amazing and beautiful and precious they are. And then usually what happens is that people do see then, and then they get invited. So in a way, it's very similar to way to respond, but it's really on a bigger scale for the really
Oh,
big things in life, because the way to respond for other generator types is like for everything in daily life, and that's how we operate and function, right?
right. So a generator's wait to respond, our body sacral response is related to just everything in our daily life, the big and the small. It's just
Yeah.
how we're designed to operate is constantly in a state of waiting to respond. Projector, on the other hand, can kind of do whatever they want as that they love, and they're waiting for an invitation or recognition. That's a differentiator right there for the big stuff.
Yeah, I mean, usually the invitations follows the recognition, right? They become
Yeah.
recognized, and people are like, oh my gosh.
Gotcha.
And like it could be, I have heard some stories. Like, let's say there's a projector and they're super genius talking about a specific topic, and they have gone to these like community meetings, and maybe for years or months, nobody asked them anything, and they feel like kind of like, well, whatever, right? And then one day somebody reaches out to them and like, oh, I heard you talk about this. I want you to speak at this conference. And then the big invitation comes, right? So
Yeah.
very, very often when I've talked to projectors, like, this whole thing, like applying for jobs in the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's not really waiting for recognition and getting invited, right?
Right.
So usually people have oftentimes like they've done it and done it and done it and tried to make it happen. And they get so like bitterness is kind of the theme that's coming up for projectors when they're not living in alignment and they're not rooted in this patience and trust that when the time is right, they will be recognized. And again, the most important for you is like, don't try to chase recognition invitations. The way that comes to you, the easiest way is by you honoring you need to rest, you need to take care of yourself, to set healthy boundaries, not just say yes everything, even though you can, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And really recognize yourself. The more you recognize yourself and own who you really are and set healthy boundaries, the faster others will recognize you and invite you. Because when you get invited, you also need to have some energy for that, right?
Yes.
And then a lot of magic can happen, right? And Marisa is saying exactly what I'm going through and as a projector in relation to job. Yeah. So again, this can be a challenge, but it's the most beautiful, soothing thing ever when you can really allow that.
And
Because
again,
you know inside that's how it's meant.
yeah, and like for generators, projectors need to have patience, but also trust that you're designed this way, and so your aura is going to pull this into you without any
Yes.
doubt. You will not be left with no invitation or nothing to respond to as either of these two types. It just takes a little leap of faith,
Yeah.
crazy moment of courage to just hang tight, focus on you, and
Yeah.
wait for life to show up for
Yeah.
you.
And the other thing is, so projectors have this natural gift of seeing how to make things more efficient, how to put systems into place. And it's kind of like, so we say the projectors are the future leaders of the world, right?
Mhm.
And Barack Obama, actually, he's a projector as well.
Yeah.
And because the generator types, which are 70% of the population that we talked about first, we can sometimes kind of be here and there and doing all the things and kind of not very efficiently using our sacral life force energy.
But having fun.
Yeah, exactly. So the projectors are very, very good at helping the generator types to actually be more efficient for the collective, for the betterment for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Because the human design is not about, oh, this is this type and this is about how we can come together. It's about creating harmony within each other. And when everybody lives in their alignment, which may be looking like doing less and more of what is fun, having more joy for all of us, we actually are going to create much more, which the mind is like, it's not possible. I have to work hard. No.
Yeah. But you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't. So, okay, projectors, how's this feeling? Does this resonate? Does this help answer your questions or give you an understanding of your energy? Or does it bring up more questions? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. By the way, just a fun side note, if you're a 2-4 profile like me, you may resonate a lot with the projector as well, because the 2-4 is this hiding away, getting recognized and getting called out.
Right.
So I experience that a lot myself.
Yeah. I know we had 1-2-4. Skyla's a 2-4.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. Exactly. So
yeah. I love me 2-4 profiles. They're the ones who are supposed to resonate best with the 5-1 profile, which is what I am, I think. I think I read that somewhere. I don't know if that's true. Okay, Kathy is a projector. Sarah's a projector. Okay, as a projector, it resonates and does shed some more light from my previous understanding. Beautiful. I know we're always learning and going deeper with this stuff. It's amazing. Kathy here says it definitely resonates. Kathy is a self-projected projector, I believe.
I love it. That's so true.
Yeah. So, and Abraham Lincoln was a self-projected projector, folks, just so we know.
Yeah.
Well, many of our leaders are projectors. Marissa says this resonates a lot, but I have a list of questions. I bet you do. I know that's the thing about human design. It answers all these questions. Then you're like, oh, but whoa. And you know what, Marissa, everybody else, there's an opportunity for ANALENA to go so deep with you in her Aligned Living Academy, which is linked in the description of the video. And you can message ANALENA about it as well if you want to learn more. And she'll talk about it more at the end.
Yeah, actually, I feel like sharing now a couple of things, and then we talk into the manifest. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there are different ways to get deeper into human design, right? So the Aligned Living Academy, the human design certification in particular, that is for anybody that wants to learn not only about themselves, because you will also learn more about your own human design. We also do a lot of the deconditioning in there. Plus, you will learn all the 5 types, and you really will become confident to give readings, to incorporate this into your business, into your personal life with others, right? So this is really for you to take it out into the world in your own unique way. Now, if that feels like too much for you, because everybody's journey is different, right? And sometimes you want to maybe take it slower and then go into it later. Some of you may already know, I have to get certified. I want to take this also into my client containers and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I want to teach this and all the things. So, but we also have ways for the generator types. We have several programs a year for generators and manifesting generators, like group programs. And if you're a projector, a manifestor, or reflector, or any type, and you just want to learn about yourself, I also offer readings. That's also a beautiful way to just look at your unique chart and have your specific questions answered, right? So that's also
and it's perfectly reasonable to start this journey learning about yourself.
Yeah, I honestly, that's a recommended way, because I know for myself, especially being like an empathic person, we want to help everybody, we want to fix everybody. And I see this a lot, that people they get into human design and they forget about themselves. And if you don't embody your own human design, it's not going to actually do much, right?
Yeah.
The more you actually...
It's so easy to get heady with this stuff. And I love what you said at the beginning was like, this is not a box. Don't put yourself in a box.
Yeah.
This actually transcends the box. But if you get very heady and mental about human design or any other modality, it puts you in a box. It puts everyone around you in a box.
Yeah.
But if we can use it as a way to understand our unique energetic signature and work through our own boxes, our own limiting boxes, like use it to bust out of those boxes, it's really powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And this is something... be aware of that, because there's a lot of, and it's not, again, done in a wrong or bad way or anything, right? But there's a lot of human design teachings or content out there, which is very boxy. It's like, oh, you're a reflector, you should do this. You're a manifestor, you should do this. You're a projector.
And it just doesn't hold water, because we're talking about the types, but folks, this chart right here, it goes so much further, deeper. It drills down so much further than the types. And if you've had a human design chart reading by me or ANALENA or anybody else, I mean, you know that's true.
Yeah, exactly. And think about it, we are 8 billion people on planet Earth,
and every single one of us has a completely unique design.
Yeah, even if you're twins, because of conditioning, right? Because of what happened in past lives, what you have gone through in your own life experiences, what your soul path is, and all of that. Even with that, it can play out differently. So the profile is those 2 numbers. I was saying, like the 2-4 profile. It was like, Ingrid, can you pull up your chart? It says 5-1, right
here. The profile, so, mine's 5-1.
Ingrid is a 5-1, which is, I mean, I can briefly, after we can touch upon the profile lines.
Yeah, if we have some time, we'll talk more about like the nitty gritties of the human design. But let's keep on track and move, because I want to talk about manifestors. Do we have any manifestors watching? Because you guys are rare.
Yeah. So the manifester, because we talked about the manifesting generator. So some of the elements that come from the manifester part. So the manifester is the only type that is, the strategy is to initiate, but before they initiate, they just need to inform, which is also for the managements, by the way, we need to inform as well. So what this basically means is, as a manifester, you get these creative urges and you got to do them. And you don't know if it's going to work out or not. It's a very experimental energy. You're not, and you're supposed to get things started. You're like the firecrackers to get things started.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to finish everything. That's why we need each other, right? Because a manifestor may come in, they have this creative spark to get something going and started, no idea how it's going to work and how it's going to go. And then eventually they're going to attract some generator types and projectors to get it organized and get it done.
To take
and
it
then,
home.
then they move on to the next.
As a generator, there are few things more yummy than a lit up manifester. Because they are just popping with energy and ideas and initiating energy. That's really, really fun.
Yeah. Now, and even though, right, they have an undefined cycle, they need that longer period times of rest as well. And they need to learn that they don't have to do it all themselves. They don't have to finish everything that they start, right?
Right.
And the thing is, though, if you have emotional authority as a manifester, when you have this initiating spark to do something, especially if it's for bigger things in life, you want to make sure that you never, and this is actually for most humans, like we never want to make a big decision when emotions are super excited and amplified, right? So a manifestor also, even though they're here to initiate stuff with emotional authority, you want to take a little bit of time. You may want to sleep on it and really make the decision from an emotionally neutral space, not from this like hyped up, being excited in the moment kind of energy. And then what's very, very important for manifestors is like informing, which basically means, let's say you have this urge to go book a trip to go to Fiji, right? To an island. You just know you need to go. You want to make sure you let the people that this will impact, that maybe your spouse or your best friend or your children or your parents, whatever, right? That you just inform them. And the informing is literally just an FYI. It's not like asking for permission. That's why most manifestors kind of resist it, because they don't want people to stop them. But it's literally for you, just like, hey guys, I'm just letting you know I'm gonna go. They may say, no, you shouldn't, go do your thing. Because if you don't do the informing, there will be more resistance all around you. You may think it's gonna help you just do the thing, but you're gonna have a lot of resistance come up, and it also will kind of feel a little bit suffocating. So
can you talk about why manifestors run into that resistance from their environment? What is it about their energy that makes people kind of do this with them sometimes?
Well, I mean, the manifestor has what we call it's a more repelling aura, and it's not like this inviting kind of energy.
Did you hear me, babe?
Yeah, I heard you. I'm here.
Come on, internet. Don't do this.
I'm here. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh. Are you back?
I'm sorry. We're having some internet connectivity issues.
No worries. Can you hear me?
I think so. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah. Well, we needed a pause. Why not?
We needed a pause. Okay, let's try this again. It's the manifestor energy.
Yeah, it's a very strong aura. So like if you just leave the room, and you have your best friend sitting there, people are like, oh, where did this person go? What happened? Right? And just the informing can kind of create more harmony with people. They don't feel left out. They're more in the loop, right? So that's just really important for them. And this will benefit the manifestor itself, because if you miss doing it, people will take it wrong. They will blame the stuff on you, and they feel like left out. And then it's going to create a lot of friction and resistance. So the more you can do the informing, even on a daily basis. If you have kids and you just go leave the house for 5 minutes and come back, just inform, and just know that it has nothing to do with asking for permission, which there may be a lot of conditioning that needs to be done, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course working on the conditioning of the undefined sacral, that you allow yourself to have rest and not just push through, because otherwise you can get burned out, pretty
Yes.
quickly. So
Yeah. Manifestors, from what I've observed, being a manifester type, everybody who's not a manifester wants to be a manifester because we're like, oh, I just want to do shit. I just want to do what I want, make it happen, not have to wait around. I don't want to have patience. But everybody who I know who's a manifester, and I think I find this is particularly true for women manifestors. It's very challenging to have this like potent kind of like pow energy that a manifestor has and need to like inform. Because it's not in our conditioning tells us like that we shouldn't behave like that. We need to all kind of fall in line, and manifestors are not here to fall in line. They're here to initiate, to blaze new trails.
Yeah. No, and also,
did we catch that?
Yeah, we caught it.
So it was good.
Yeah. Your video is a little like, but you're there. No, and I also have to say, like, not every manifestor is like an Aries kind of energy, right? That's kind of probably the sign of what you said. I also know very highly sensitive, super calm manifestors, empathic and all the stuff, right? I think sometimes we just think that the manifestor is the, like, I don't know, the elephant in the room and just like loud and all that. It's not like that.
No.
While we can also, of course, experience it. I have more experience with the pure manigens, actually, because they have that sacral energy to the throat, and it can be challenging because as a manifestor, you only know if something works once you try it out. So the creative urge that comes through you, and that's kind of where the connections with the manifesting generator, why we change our mind. We have to try it out, and then we're like, oh, not really what I want.
It's so interesting you say that. My partner is a manifestor. And I will, I'm one of those people, like so many of us, I have all these new ideas and I just kind of cogitate and I talk about them, knowing that I'm not going to do anything with them until my body responds, but I want to talk about it. And my partner is always saying, try it out. Just give it a try. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And he's like, just could you give it a try? And understanding that now more deeply about manifestors helps me understand that as a manifestor type, that's what he's designed to do, is give it a try, give it a try, give it a try. Yeah, but my sacral response is like, oh, I don't know. And I go, am I just afraid? But I think it's the different types, the different response.
Yeah, the manifestor energy is like a 3-line. It's the
interesting.
Yeah. Which also applies to the manigens. That's why the manigens can be so freaking messy and all over the place.
We love it. We love the manigen mess. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So manifestors who are listening, tell us if this resonates with you, if this answers your questions, or if it brings up more questions. What does it do for you? And while we have time, I want to talk about reflectors too. If we have any I have a few reflectors in my sphere. If any of you are here, let me know, or let us know. Leave a comment.
Yeah,
so this is only like 1.5% of the population, right?
Yeah, it's like a little bit less than 1%. So if you're a reflector, the way that your human design chart will look like is all the centers, the 9 centers, are all going to be white, or we call them undefined. So you are literally like a barometer for the world, because you're reflecting everything back. All the undefined centers is like you're reflecting this energy back to the world. So kids are usually like highly sensitive, that they're being reflectors. They really have to be in an environment that feels good. So if you reflect a child and they don't feel right in their school, probably would take them out and find a school where they feel right, and they need to have good, healthy environment around them is super important. It's super crucial for reflectors, because just like when I talked about the projectors, they take on so much energy, right? The reflectors, they take on a lot as well, and so they need to get out in nature. So they probably feel super connected the more they can be out in nature and go away from everything, right?
Now, folks, just so you know, reflector types have no definition, no color in their chart. They're wide open.
Yeah, I mean, they have these lines, but the
Mhm.
centers that we have, they're all going to be white,
Yes.
and they're also highly impacted by the moon. They're also called lunar beings. And for reflectors, and look, there's books about reflectors. There are people that specialize in it. There's so much more to it. Like we can't like go into all the depth of this, but they are really in sync with the moon, and this is why their strategy and authority is called it's called wait a lunar cycle, wait 28, 29 days to make a decision. Now, this does not mean that a reflector has to wait a month to make any kind of decision, because that's not practical, right? But for
Yeah.
the bigger things in life, things that are new for a reflector, they need a lunar cycle or several lunar cycles to really feel into the energy if that's good and aligned for them. And I have a friend of mine that when I learned about human design, she also started to look into it. And then her partner, she learned, was, I think she's a generator type, and he was a reflector. And then she was like, oh my gosh, I always used to like complain why it would take him a freaking month to make a decision. And then all of a sudden she had this compassion, and she learned that's how it's meant to be living life. That's aligned for this person, right? And sometimes, a reflector.
Ha ha. That's funny.
Yeah. And sometimes you can also, as a reflector, already go through the lunar cycle before you make the decision, because maybe you envision something and you know from your heart. I had a conversation with a reflector, like she manifested like a house or something, and she had felt into it for years already. And then when
Yeah.
they found the house, she didn't need a second to decide. So
Right.
it's also, again, on my podcast, I have a couple of reflector interviews there as well. Like, you always learn the most when you actually talk to a reflector. It's so beautiful. They have the biggest amount of wisdom, I want to say, and they're really like if you have a reflector in your life and the reflector is not well, that is a reflection of you and the environment that they're in. So they are reflecting back the health of the community, literally.
They are. Yeah. And so I know a reflector. I just did a ticker for your podcast and I lost it. So let me try it again. I reflector student of mine. I've had a couple of students, people in my community who are reflectors. And one of these beautiful humans is a marketing person. She does like websites and marketing and stuff. And after she trained with me, she applied because we did intuition development, right? So she learned her psychic abilities. And man, reflectors, like so open, so intuitive, so naturally intuitive. But what she did, she took her intuitive abilities and she applied it to her marketing and her digital and her design. And I had her do my website. And I swear, you know what she did? She took a minute and she tapped into my energy. Oh, we went down there. She felt my energy. She tapped in and she built a website for me without any input from me. And then she sent me the link. She goes, okay, here's a comp of your website. And at first I was like, you didn't what? You didn't get you don't know what I want. And I opened it up and my entire being just went, "Whoa!" I mean, she absolutely tapped into my energy and created a digital product that mirrored me so completely. And she has done that for all the people who I have referred her to. Her name is Heather Foster. And if
Wow.
anybody needs a marketing person, she's a reflector and she's trained in psychic and intuition, and she will just create you in the digital space because she's a reflector. She just absorbs it and reflects it right back to you.
Yeah. No, and people actually may feel really uncomfortable on a reflector because you see yourself reflected back, and sometimes you may not like it also, right? So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful gift that we have, because we don't see ourselves, right? Or
Yes.
but that's such a cool story. I love that.
Yeah. And if you're not doing good, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're more in your authentic self and in integrity, then being around a reflector is a gorgeous experience
Hmm. Yeah.
because they're reflecting that back to you. So reflectors are great, or Sometimes challenging. Yeah, that's the name of your podcast, right? The Art of Slowing Down to Quantum Leap.
Yeah, the other
Okay.
one, yeah.
So this is a really great podcast. How many downloads does it have? It's gotten really popular, hasn't it?
About 30,000 now. I'm
About
hitting.
30,000 downloads. You just started it, what, a year ago?
Yeah, a year ago. Yeah.
Your podcast is just exploded. Anyway, so you talk about human design, you interview all different types and talk about how it incorporates into their life. If you want to learn human design, go binge ANALENA'S podcast and all the people that she interviews. There's nothing like learning hands-on, and this is a way that ANALENA provides for us to do that. And this is on all the major podcasting platforms. So
Yeah, and iTunes and everything. Yeah, and what I say is like human design can be very overwhelming. So if you're new to human design, you probably right now your head is like,
yeah. How are you all feeling after hearing this? Is this like, is it something you feel like you're able to keep up with? Is it illuminating for you, or does it just kind of make your head feel even more full? And like, where does it make you want to go with human design and your own chart and your own journey with human design? Or does it make you kind of want to nope right on out of there? Either way is okay. But we're curious to see how this is feeling. Okay, we are hitting the hour and a half mark, and I think we're both probably getting kind of tired, but because even when you're excited, you're like, okay, and even generators run out of steam. ANALENA, can you take a minute and talk about the human design certification course that and your partner who you're working with at this academy? Tell us a little bit about that, because that's a really big deal.
Yeah, so we founded the Aligned Living Academy about a year ago. Miranda's also a 2/4 manifesting generator like me, and we already met years and years ago through our coaching journey. And we are both, the way we teach human design is very similar. I mean, very unique at the same time, but like we don't put people into boxes. We teach it very expanding in a very practical way. And we have created this human design certification because like I can only give so many readings. I can only be on so many other people's podcasts. I'm just one, right? And we both believe that this can really change the world, especially the business world. I mean, it can change everything. Parenting, it's actually meant for children, ultimately, human design. So there's so many ways how human design can be used. I mean, it's for relationships, for parenting, for your health also, for how we do business, for prosperity, for abundance. I mean, literally, like, it's endless ways and forms how you can use human design. And so if any one of you feels really called to become more of an expert with human design, where you're not only going to learn about yourself, but you also want to bring it into your business, then we have the Aligned Living Human Design certification. And right now we have the current cohort starts. So we already opened it, and the last day to sign up. Yeah, I'm talking. I took over for you, so all good.
I'm back.
Yeah, so we have right now, we don't have it open all the time. We kind of do closed groups 3 times a year. And right now, the last day to join us is February the 15th, because on the 16th is our first live call, and you're going to have access to a private community. We do a lot of the deconditioning as well. You really learn how to do readings. You're going to learn about all the types. And our students are they're super quickly confident to teach, to give readings and use it in their own business or in whatever way or form they want to bring it into the world. And apparently the way we teach is like nothing is out there, like super. I mean, we have the prettiest slides and graphics. We're all about aesthetics. Yeah, I always learn best with visuals, because just like now, it's so much information. Like human design can be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
But the way we share it is really in a way that is not only going to change your life, but also the life of other people, because we have to bring this to people in a practical way. I mean, there's so much information. Information is not going to create transformation. It's through actually taking it and sharing what really matters and showing how to actually embody it and live it and use it in your own life in a practical way, right?
Yeah. Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham Hicks, says words don't teach.
Yeah.
Words don't teach. So I'm really happy that you're doing this. And I have linked to ANALENA'S Academy and her human design certification course. In full transparency, this is an affiliate link. But if you know me, you followed me around, you know I don't promote people who I don't believe in. I don't even bring people on my podcast who I don't believe in, who I don't know, because it's a sacred space. So if you're wanting to learn human design in a really concrete, grounded, transformative way, then learn it through ANALENA and her partner and their Aligned Living Academy. Go check it out. You can also get a one-on-one session, right? You're doing readings.
Yeah, actually, it was just my birthday. I have a special this month.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm offering right now a reading for 33% off. So it's only 222 instead of 333.
Yes. Okay. That's a really good deal. If you've shopped around human design readings, they're expensive because of all of the knowledge and the hours it takes to like prepare for this. So 222 on your website. That is fantastic. ANALENAFuchs.com. Yeah, you should get that reading from her while she's got that special running. That's really, really good. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I can actually, I don't even know if I have it on my website, to be honest. But I'm just gonna share the link with you. So
okay, I will stick it on the.
I mean, whenever
screen.
people this will go back to 333. It's for the first 10. I already had a couple of bookings. So it is a steal, to be honest, yes, because this is really to give you some really good guidance for you in your life based on your own unique chart.
Yeah.
Because you can be, like we talked about, you can be a projector, but there's so many differences and nuances being a projector that, it's reading is a beautiful first start, so you don't get overwhelmed, because there's a lot of stuff about human design and many people get into the rabbit hole and then you're stuck in your head. And the thing about human design is actually to get out of your head and in your body, so you can really trust yourself with that.
So this is kind of a challenging link to put on the screen. It's not clickable. So I think what we should do probably is, if you want to get that special from ANALENA, send her a private message. Go find her on Facebook or go to her website and send her her contact information. Your contact information.
Instagram is the best way, because
Instagram.
I do have it in my bio. So let me send you that. So that's the easiest. True. That's kind of a long link.
Yeah. So here's her Instagram, which will be a little easier to.
Yeah. And on there is also, tons of information about the types, about the gates, and you can binge on that for a little while.
Yeah, oh my gosh, she's got so much. So go find her on Instagram. That's her main platform. Mm-hmm. She's also on Facebook. She's on the major players, I think. And go get it, folks. And if you book a reading with her, let her know you came from here so that she can track that. And then same thing with the certification course.
Yes.
All right. Beautiful, my love. Okay. Does that feel complete?
Yes. I had a blast. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yes. Thank you for jumping on, for your questions. ANALENA, thank you so much for taking out this time in the evening. You're 3 hours ahead of me, so it's late. Yeah. So I really appreciate it. And I love you dearly. And I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody.
All right, my love. Bye.